Good afternoon and welcome to Popcorn News. I'm your host, Lucian, and today we're talking about a very sensitive topic on toxic masculinity. To your left, we have Amani Douglas, a social media influencer who likes to share his opinions and beliefs to the public. Right, we have Tia Giata. She is a feminist activist and strives for equality between men and women at all costs. Right, without further ado, I have a question for you, Amani. What does the term toxic masculinity mean to you?
I mean, me personally, I feel as if the term toxic masculinity, it was created by females. This is because they wanted to diminish men's power and simply have some type of superiority over them.
Do you think this is true?
No, and I have to majorly disagree with you, Mr. Douglas. The term was actually created by a man. It wasn't created by females. His name was Shepherd Bliss. He created this term because he wanted to show the centuries of misogyny and mistreatment towards women.
My question to you is, what mistreatment was there?
Well, mistreatment. Well, the mistreatment that women had to sit inside the houses, clean, cook, take care of the kids, while men could have gone out and worked.
That statement that you just made, I would like to disagree. The reason being is because females had opportunities to go out and work. They were not forced to stay in. They chose to.
The only reason we had opportunities is because we worked for those opportunities. And even if we went out and worked, we would get judged by others. And even if we did work, indeed, the pay gap is actually a true thing.
What statistics do you have to show this?
No, the 79 cents that every woman gets is $1 for every man that gets.
Was this written by a female?
What makes you say that, may I ask?
Well, you won't really find reports written by a man. Females, they like to stir drama up and they like to play victim as you're portraying right now.
Do you think if a man does this, he's considered feminine?
No, if a man does this, he's not a real man.
What do you consider a real man?
A real man is simply the breadwinner, someone who takes care of their family, someone who takes care of their own health, and someone who will ensure that they do not show any emotions and they know how to put their women in place.
Sorry, first of all, I really disagree with the last sentence where you said they should put their women in place. That's straightforward. I must go back to the part where women were mistreated and were pushed to stay inside their houses. Like, this is mistreatment as well. Pushing women to just in a sense,
It's a bedroom culture.
pardon?
It's a bedroom culture. They have to stay at home. Is that what you're saying?
No, but with what Imani said is
Yeah.
I disagree with that. And I have to go back. I'm not showing emotions. Why not showing emotions? What is your reason for that?
Because if a man shows emotion to anybody, but specifically females tend to gossip and they like to take advantage of a male, as men, they don't necessarily open up. It's very rare that you'll see a man open up. And if they do, then it shows some sense of trust. However, it's rare because women like to, as I said, diminish men and put them at a low spot in life where they do not belong.
So, you think opening up to a woman is a completely bad thing to do, the wrong thing to do?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's a completely bad thing or wrong thing to do. I just believe, and I've put on my social media before, I don't feel as if you should do that if you want to ensure that your health and your feelings are well.
You think a man should open up to a woman?
Obviously.
Or open up in general?
Just open up in general, because if you keep everything to yourself, it can end in a really bad way. Depression is real and other mental issues are quite real.
Well, thank you for your opinions. They're both clearly very opposing. But we do have a whole world out here with different opinions. That's why I've got Charlie Bellamy, he's our associate. And we've sent him out to the public to interview some random people on their opinions on toxic masculinity. Once he's back, I'll ask your opinions if you disagree or agree with the statements. So, thank you. Be right back.
We're now heading towards a local gym. We're going to ask members of the public what they think about masculinity and toxic masculinity as a concept.
not manly things, but the act of being a man in itself. I think being a man, there's certain things that you do that women just generally don't do or other people don't do.
The standard reasons why people are masculine probably don't apply in this day and age anymore, and I think that the idea of masculinity is changing overall.
Sort of historically, I suppose it comes from our roles as different sort of genders. What does it mean to be a man, which is an idea that's evolved over time. Once upon a time it meant we were kind of a physical tool to collect things and hunt things or whatever.
67% of 18 to 24-year-old men feel compelled to act hyper-masculine in tough situations.
Kind of giving in to the sort of kind of losing like restraint on oneself and kind of giving in to sort of testosterone fueled kind of instincts, I suppose, kind of going back to sort of base level old ideas of what it is to be a man.
Jokes that go too far and are generally just like, oh, it's just banter or whatever, but you're actually like really hurting someone's feelings, or you're just like doing stuff that's all round unpleasant that you wouldn't want done to you, but just hiding under the guise that it's something normal and that it's a joke. So.
Just getting their way, not understanding the word no, I think that's toxicity to me.
I don't know, I got a problem with that phrase because I feel like it's thrown around a lot. I feel like if someone is seen as the kind of person who, let's say, they believe in working hard and they're not really very emotional, they're maybe a bit stoic, people call them toxically masculine, but I don't think that's really the right word to use. I would probably say that's just how they are as a person.
55% of young men stated that they'd feel like less of a man if they were to cry in front of others.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. I think like in the past sort of 5 years longer, I think there's been quite a good positive movement of men moving in a direction where we try to make it more okay to talk about these things.
I'm quite open. To me, I think the hardest thing you can be in life is yourself, innit? Anyone who struggles to talk about things about how they feel or anything like that, it's more respected, or to me, I see it as more of a big thing if people can actually speak openly about things.
Okay, maybe it's because the women let that happen, or even the guy, but sometimes it's just they're just in love, that they don't want to let go, so they're forced to be in that.
Social media gives everyone a voice and everybody believes that what they're saying is right. I don't believe in everything that everyone says or has to believe, but I think people can have their opinion, but not everyone has to listen to it or agree with it.
We've now finished our interviews. We've got a wide range of thoughts from lots of diverse and different people. How have your thoughts changed on toxic masculinity, or have they still remained the same?
Thank you, Charlie. We've had some great views from the public, and now I want to ask, do you disagree or agree with any of the statements made?
Now, I agree and I disagree. There was specifically this young man, I agree with the fact that he spoke about how he obviously opens up to people. Now, I don't agree with that. Because like I said previously, if you open up to people, then it puts you at a disadvantage as people like to take advantage of you. However, there was a part where he said that sometimes it's good to be closed off, as you can just use the anger into something else. I'm not saying something violent. You should put any anger that you have within you, use it in the gym.
So, were there any statements made by the public that you agree or you disagree on?
Definitely, but there was this one statement that really caught my eye, and it was this person. They were talking about how they didn't grow up in the UK, and they grew up in a country where, in a sense, this toxic masculinity, as we are talking about it today, is actually their views on just masculinity and how men should be, which was really interesting to hear.
Do you think that the culture or the views of masculinity in the country should be called toxic, or is it just the culture?
I don't believe that it should be toxic. It's not toxic, it's building a sense of character. So therefore it should strictly be called masculinity.
I've also heard in these countries they have views that that look down upon single parent families or especially lone mother families. Do you think that because of this view, they think that you can't be a real man if you're raised by a mother? Do you think this is true?
I would strongly like to disagree.
Mm.
If a father figure is in your life and is constantly in your life and constantly engaging in your life, then you're not necessarily going to be able to find yourself, and you're not necessarily going to be able to grow to be a man because you are having some type of guidance every step of the way. However, if it's just a single parent and it's only your mother is essentially both your father and your mother. And as a son, you would want to do everything in your power in order to pay back your mum for everything that she's done for you. You'll go through so many trials and tribulations, and you'll go through so many experiences that can break you down and make you fall. And as a man, if you want to keep striving, you'll pick yourself back up, and you will learn from those mistakes. And as someone who has a single parent, you're not necessarily going to tell people your experiences, because if you tell them, then they're not going to be able to live the experiences you had and be able to develop into a real man.
Do you think that this is a valid view, that you can be a real man or just a man raised by your mother?
I must say though, I quite agree with what Imani has said, most of it. I do believe that even if it is a mother or a father, they have both of the characters in the life, and I believe it's quite strong of them to do that. And a real man, whatever, I guess, is about finding yourself. It's about just being yourself. It's your life. You are building yourself. You're putting those pieces together to make who you are in the future. You are putting those pieces of puzzle together to form a path to follow. But I believe that a lot of people have chosen the right path. They didn't choose the right pieces of the puzzle, and can result to something quite toxic. Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm gathering is that you don't believe that your life is influenced. You believe it's built by yourself from the inside to the top.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
I feel like it's good to be a leader. As a leader, you will tend to share your opinions, and those people who agree, they start to see the reality of life, and then they will sooner or later become a leader for themselves, and it will just grow and grow, and people will see the truth within.
Well, so I'm glad we agree on something, but I'd like to pull from what you said before. You said that bottling up your emotions is a good thing. Would you like to elaborate?
Is always going to be a good thing, because it just shows that you're not easy to break through. You're not easy to be manipulated by women. Now, I'm not saying every woman will do this. I'm saying there's certain individuals within this world that will manipulate you into opening up. And if you break, they're going to keep on doing other things and taking advantage of you. And you'll be seen as weak. You won't be seen as a man. And if you're not seen as a man and you're seen as weak, it's only going to make you feel worse about yourself.
Sorry, I must intervene on that. Why would you bottle your emotions? Would it go back to maybe having a single parent? Because sometimes it's, I guess, not putting in like what you're feeling. You just don't want to show it to them. Don't want to give it to them because they have enough on their plate. Would you say, is that a reason why maybe?
Yes, it is, because if you are very open with your mother and you let all your emotions out on your mother, your mother is already going through things behind the scenes. She's already trying to make plans. She's already trying to do the best for you. And if she sees the fact that you are going through a phase where you're not really feeling yourself, your mental health is bad, and you're constantly upset, it's only going to break her even more.
Well, thank you for your opinions. We have to wrap up. But I'm glad we've agreed in some parts. We've mostly disagreed, but we did agree. So that means that we are not too different after all. Thank you for being here. I've been your host, Lucian. This has been Popcorn News, and it's been a pleasure having you today.